Emil Cioran once wrote extensively about suffering and time. Pain has no built-in wisdom, endurance doesn't purify, and prolonged misery doesn't reveal hidden truths. Something along the lines of that. A couple of weeks ago, I watched Sátántangó. It sucked fucking baloney balls. I'll keep this short. What is Sátántangó? Well, Sátántangó, or Satan's Tango, directed by Béla Tarr, is a Hungarian film where it's about some inhabitants of a small village in Hungary dealing with the effects of communism. That's practically the whole film, but just stretched like a raccoon crawling up an asshole. Well, this film is notably known for being long. How long is it? 7 hours. To be fair, if you clicked on this video, you're probably some guy on Letterboxd who saw this on the top 250 films of all time and wanted to check a review about it. Instead of watching others applauding about this movie, sucking off the Sátántangó's golden nipple and other videos, you can watch my video with 50 views, as I am a very handsome guy who watches critically acclaimed films like Free Guy and Red One. So the perspective here matters. To be fair, I've watched quote-unquote boring films like Controversies and Resurrection. Are those films where your mom or like some random Kazakh kid would watch? No, but I would like to compare those movies to this. Yes, in those movies I mentioned, there is some long shots like in Controversies, the procession scene which conveys so many emotions without dialogue, and in Resurrection there's like a 4-minute scene of a still with background music of someone snoring. But in those movies, at least I was very immersed because it had something meaningful with the scene and not just like 10 minutes of cows, 10 minutes of fucking curtains, and 10 minutes of some kid torturing a cat. Alright, I don't want to dunk on this movie that much. I give it like a 5 out of 10 because I'm a pretentious fuck who doesn't have a life, but that's besides the point. And with the recent passing of Béla Tarr, maybe I'm a bit harsh. Rest in peace. I'm sure I would have loved that guy. He looks like a well chap, but I am critiquing his art here, and I'm sorry, the late Béla Tarr, it's bad. The film is not without merit, however. There are some parts of this film that are genuinely amazing and beautiful. It's well shot, and there's a one-take scene which was really impressive. Too bad the scenes are stretched 10 times longer than it's supposed to be. The influence of this film is also something I must mention, as it influenced one of my favorite films of all time, An Elephant Sitting Still, directed by the late Hugo. Call me some depressed fuck, but in that movie, every scene is essential. It conveyed great emotion. It's perfect. There are long shots and the whole film is practically a one take, but it was handled in perfection. Maybe I'm not a Hungarian villager, so I wouldn't know what their emotions are supposed to be felt like, but to me, some long shots and most parts of the films is just unnecessary. You might be asking then, why did I watch this film? Well, I wanted to complete the top 250 films of Letterboxd. Remember the jab I had just now about someone's reason on watching this video? Yeah, that was just me. I am usually projecting in my script. But I just can't understand this pretentious buttfuckery making this film look like the second coming of Christ. Like, look at this review. Let's look at its points. It's a one-of-a-kind film that you may only see once upon a lifetime. Yeah, sure, I guess. I'm not going to watch this, but you do you. The 7 hours will go by faster than you think. Fuck no. That's a lie right there. It was grueling, the whole 7 hours. I wanted to tear my face and cry on how fucking bored I felt. In League terms, it's like playing with stupid fucking idiots as a jungler, and the bot laner's not helping you placing wards at the dragon, where I clearly pinged that area and fucking question mark me when the dragon got smited by the fucking other jungler. You will enter a whole new world. Yeah, that world is some village in Hungary. I too was around the cows and the woman washing her vagina. It is quite gorgeous, I can admit that. Now, this is the worst part of the review. I have something to brag about, yeah. I go around at parties telling people I watch Sátántangó in one sitting. Nobody fucking says that. I can agree with numbers 6 and 7. Yes, you don't really need a strong plot to make a great film. One of my favorite movies of all time, Manchester by the Sea, barely had a plot, and it's just some guy being depressed for 2 hours. And finally, I haven't read the novel, but I do plan to. Maybe it's great and I enjoy the film more after reading it, but I just don't want to do that now. I also want to mention the however long scene of the cat being tortured. Yeah, whatever. Béla Tarr said that the cat was not harmed, but when am I stupid? Do I look like a lobotomite? Watching the movie, I can clearly see that the cat was not comfortable and was being physically tortured for a great cinema. Looking at the Reddit threads about this movie talking about the cat scene, they just kept applauding Béla Tarr, saying shit like, "Bravo, Béla Tarr! You are the best cat torturer besides Luca Magnotta." Some fucking idiot on Reddit said, like, "It's Béla Tarr, so it's supposed to be long and grueling. Great fucking job." I'm sure if Béla Tarr directed a film where he slaughters your entire family, you would praise that shit. I also like to mention that this film was made in 1994. You know, I thought this movie was like released in the 1950s. I'd probably be blown away if that was actually the case here, but that's not it. Why are the little Hungarians sad? In Utero just released last year. Great job, great joke right there. Anyways, here is my serious review of the film and practically an extended version of my Letterboxd review. This film was a genuine test of endurance. At over 7 hours long, Sátántangó doesn't simply ask for your time, it demands submission. It moves at a glacial pace, stretching scenes far beyond conventional narrative necessity, often lingering on mundane actions until they become exhausting rather than illuminating. What starts as an artistic choice quickly turns into a battle of wills between the viewer and the film itself. I generally do not trust anyone who says this film is their favorite. That statement feels less like a sincere expression of love and more like a declaration meant to signal taste, patience, or intellectual superiority. Enjoying Sátántangó feels performative in a way few films manage to achieve. If this is your comfort movie, I have questions. That being said, it would be dishonest to claim the film had no value. Béla Tarr is clearly operating with an immense level of control and intent. The cinematography is often striking, even if similar techniques had already been explored in other slow cinema works at the time. The stark black and white imagery, the long tracking shots, and the oppressive compositions successfully communicate a world steeped in decay, stagnation, and quiet despair. Around the halfway point, the extended one-take stands out as a genuine highlight. It's an impressive technical feat and one of the few moments where the film's length and patience feels justified. In isolation, sequences like this demonstrate why Sátántangó is so often cited in academic and cinephile circles. It is meticulously crafted, disciplined, and uncompromising in its vision. However, technical mastery alone cannot sustain emotional or intellectual engagement for 7 hours. The film's relentless repetition, minimal narrative momentum, and deliberate monotony create a viewing experience that feels punishing rather than profound. Instead of deepening its themes through duration, the film often feels like it's daring the audience to give up, mistaking exhaustion for insight. There were moments where I questioned whether the issue was the film or me. Maybe I'm not fully grasping what Sátántangó is trying to achieve. Maybe this is a movie that only truly resonates under specific conditions, at a certain age, in a certain mindset, or with a level of patience I simply do not possess right now. That's entirely possible. But intention doesn't override experience. No matter how deliberate the pacing is, no matter how carefully constructed each shot may be, the act of watching the film was draining. By the end, I didn't feel challenged in a stimulating way. I felt worn down. The atmosphere of despair became monotonous, and the emotional distance never close enough for me to care deeply about what was unfolding on screen. I can respect Sátántangó as an artistic object. I can acknowledge its influence, its ambition, and its technical achievements. But respect does not equal enjoyment. For me, this wasn't a transcendent slow cinema masterpiece. It was a 7-hour endurance trial that tested my patience more than it enriched my understanding. At the end of it all, I walked away not feeling enlightened, but relieved that it was over. And while I'm glad I can say that I've seen Sátántangó, I can also confidently say I never want to experience it again. Anyways, see you.